Seed Force, Warwick, 10 years. It's been a very interesting climb, I would have thought.
Well, I don't know, Rob, the time's just gone whoosh, and I mean, the 10 years has just flown by. Fantastic achievement. I'm just so delighted that, on behalf of the company and the board and all of us, the shareholders, that we've been able to get to this point in time. I mean, we see so many stories in the press of companies that get over the first hurdle, which is a couple of months, and then they fail to kick on.
I think the interesting thing is that there's a quote that says there's no escalator to success. You've got to take the stairs and step by step.
Exactly. And yes, we have. I mean, we had our celebration of 10 years of Seed Force, and it coincided also with the opening of a new building, which we've invested in to effectively go the next 10 years, hopefully. And that was last week. And it was a great opportunity. We were able to host not only our joint venture shareholders from France, from RSUT, Jordan's, but also a number of our customers and suppliers and farming producers. And it was just a great celebration to be able to
Tell me how the joint venture works, because you're in there with the French and the Dutch.
Yes. Well, Jordan's is the actual shareholder, but they're a subsidiary of RSUT, so they're fully owned. So it just so happens that they are the designated company to represent the French interests. It's a joint venture with local shareholders, of which I'm one, and largely it's a partnership to develop and bring the best technologies from around the world, and certainly from RSUT and France into New Zealand, for New Zealand agriculture, really. Because farmers have got to have choice, and farmers have got to have access to the best technology. And often we pride ourselves with sort of saying we know it all and we're a pretty good country, and hey, we can...
You're speaking New Zealand here,
we
not,
can
not
beat everyone.
Force, I understand.
And but the reality, Rob, is that investment in R&D it's a huge expense, and we've seen it in New Zealand that I think our R&D expenditure is pretty low. RSUT, for example, spend a third of their revenue on R&D. So
really,
it's a significant investment. Of 1,200 people, they've got almost 400 in R&D. So it's a significant investment, and we can tap into that, and we can bring those suitable technologies to New Zealand for the betterment of agriculture.
Because what intrigues me, Warwick, is the fact that you brought back a whole lot of what I would say old traditional crops,
Yeah.
but they're totally new.
Well, yes. I mean, I mean, for example, fodder beet, which we've talked over the years about. We've really bought an old crop, but we have bought a technology. We've bought a technology and adapted it by way of how to use it. We understand its agronomy, but we've had to tweak it, and we really didn't understand how to feed it in the field, in situ, and that's been where the secret is. That's what we've solved, and that's been done in conjunction with the likes of Lincoln University and some overseas people, and we've been able to bring that, and farmers are using it. And I mean, today it's a significant crop.
In fact, New Zealand is probably one of the main areas for growing it now.
It would be, yes, it would be, Rob. It would be, yes, certainly.
And fescues and Coxford?
Well, we've talked about resilience, and it's a word that gets battered around a fair bit, but in terms of resilient pastures, it's been a key focus for us. And look, we're not knocking ryegrass. Perennial ryegrass is great, and perennial ryegrass, white clover pastures have lasted for, and stood agriculture in the mainstay. But when we're getting extremes, ryegrass doesn't like it, and so we need to bring more robustness into our pastures. So the likes of tall fescue, the likes of Coxford are both robust species, and there's been some significant breeding done by RSUT in France. They would have the world-leading program in both those species. They've changed the the softness of the plant, they've changed, in the case of tall fescue, made it almost look like ryegrass, and it's so much more robust in terms of a much better root system. In terms of Coxford, quite different. Coxford used to clump and be seen as just a plant here and a plant there. Well, now that doesn't happen, and the modern Coxfords are grown just like a leafy pasture. And so farmers are integrating those into pasture mixes. They're using them as part of their overall farm program, and we're seeing some fantastic results. In fact, interestingly, the industry, the seed industry domestically, does an annual survey of the use of proprietary species, and in the results that are generated annually, we've seen in the last sort of 2-3 years almost a significant increase in tall fescue use and a significant increase in Coxford use. So it obviously demonstrates that it's working.
Yeah. And you're very focused on palatability for a very good reason.
Oh, what's key? I mean, if the animals can't eat the particular forage, then we haven't really got a future, because they can't put on live weight gain. So palatability, stock grazing, animal performance are all linked. They're all a very key component of basically how we produce meat and milk from grass and forages.
I'm going to be giving you just a bit of a, you're going to go humble on me, but in the last 10 years, I think you've advanced hugely the agronomy in New Zealand. Is there still room for more?
Oh, there is, Rob. I mean, I think modern technologies today are giving us a better measure of being able to quantify the benefit that we're getting from them. I think that's a key area. You know, there are a lot of new programs, economic modelling programs now, that are able to show if you plant a mixture or a new variety or a new species and integrate that into your farm system, what will that generate in terms of revenue? I think that whole area, there's a whole area of understanding that many farmers don't have. They still fly by the seat of their pants and by the gut feel, as you well know. I mean, yes, it's working, it seems to be working, but I can't actually tangibly put a figure on it.
No.
So I see a huge increase there. I think there will be improvements in time as new technologies come along. One of the key ones is marker-assisted selection. So what that means is that you could almost say that plant breeders can produce designer ryegrasses or designer grasses, designer forages. They know the blueprint of the actual plant, of the species, and they can identify all the good parts and maybe select out the bad parts. So you'll find in the future that they'll be able to breed almost like you bake a cake, breed to a recipe, and that's all driven out of things like sort of marker-assisted selection, which RSUT have got a significant investment in, and that's how most of their program is being developed going forward. So yeah, it's all the future.
And once again, congratulations on your first 10 years.
Thanks, Rob.